OpenAI is reportedly set to launch a new AI-powered browser in the coming weeks, just as Perplexity launches its own one called Comet. Deirdre Bosa has more on the newest battlefront here in today's Tech Check, the AI battlefront, Deirdre, that I still haven't checked it out, but I'm very curious to see if these things can really work.
Well, you're in luck. I have checked out Comet, so I'll tell you all about it. But the new to Battlefront you mentioned, you're right, it is AI. So it's not just a user interface upgrade. This is a full-blown interface shift. No longer just a window, but the agent. And it's really interesting that it's two AI native startups, Perplexity and OpenAI, racing to really redefine what is the internet's front door. Now, as I mentioned, I got early access to Perplexity's Comet browser. And the most unique feature that I found so far is the Comet Assistant, which is built in. So first I had to approve a very uncomfortable amount of access to my personal accounts, but that's what you got to do to get this thing to work. And once I did, it could sort through my Gmail, for example, for lists that I should unsubscribe to. It could also look through my LinkedIn for noteworthy inbound connection requests. Now, there's also an assistant sidebar that stays up while browsing the web that really helps streamline as I sort of browse versus switching between a million different tabs. Now, other users have complained of the agent hallucinating when doing more complicated tasks like booking stuff. But even so, the direction here is clear, Kelly. This is a browser that isn't just showing you the internet. It's actually trying to use it for you. And these are still early days. OpenAI, with many, many more users, data, and reach, reportedly working on its own. So this could really be a game changer. And here's the bottom line for investors. New AI browsers, they could threaten Google on two fronts, search and Chrome, by replacing both of them with an AI layer that sits on top of the web. So this isn't just about who builds the better browser. It's really about who owns the default interface to user intent, which has always been the case, but that is certainly being redefined in the AI era.
It was the first thing when I talked to a few people about if they'd use the browser. A lot of people were a little hesitant about linking up all of their really personal stuff to it. You know, these are new companies, it's unclear a lot of the usage policies. You already hear stuff about like ChatGPT using one person's input for work to give someone else output on like corporate information. So can you give us more examples of how you use this in practice when found that either it worked or in executing tasks or couldn't work?
I mean, one of the really surprising things first is that it works just like an actual browser, right? It's really that assistant, what it can do for you. And I've only been playing around with it for a few days, but it does help things like prioritize email. And Kelly, I hear you on giving it so much data. I mean, that's where I hesitated. The list was so long that I had to approve to give access to, but that's always the case with AI, right? The more data you give it, the more personal data you give it, and memory, the more useful it is for you. So I'm kind of eager to see how much more useful it gets as I continue to use it. I still haven't made that full switch from Chrome, what I normally use, to Comet. But again, I'll continue testing it out over the last few days, and it does feel like a game changer.
It's why I think
we'll see how useful and where it trips up.
For sure, and I do think Apple has an edge here because we all kind of trust it with a lot of our information already. So if they can use that to kind of work between apps or be an agent for, a big if, for sure. Quickly, Deirdre, Grok 4 launched this morning, recently. And according to all the researchers, it's fabulous. It might be the best model out there now. I'm a little confused on how to access it. I have the Grok app, but it still tells me I've got Grok 3. And I'm just thinking through the implications here for everything from Tesla to X itself, to all the other pieces of Musk's empire. And the point that Dan Ives the other day made, which was he thinks that Tesla should give Musk more voting shares so he could just go ahead and combine XAI into Tesla. And Musk made some comments about using Grok in Teslas themselves. So here comes Grok 4, and it's now the splashy new thing on the scene.
So the implications, you're absolutely right, especially the idea of it being put into Teslas. The implications are huge. It could give XAI, it could give Elon Musk a huge leg up in sort of the AI arms race. And it gets at this idea of build versus rent, right? Elon Musk is trying to vertically integrate everything versus, say, an Amazon, which may be doubling down investment on Anthropic, right? In that case, it's turning to a third party. So is Apple. There is sort of this thought in Silicon Valley that you do want to own the whole stack. You want to be vertically integrated, and that gives you the best chance at sort of deploying products and having the research side and the proprietary technology. With Grok 4, I've seen a lot of Elon Musk fans say that it's the greatest out there, but I asked someone this morning, a source that, I believe is really neutral, if it was really that good. And he says he wants to wait to see how it ranks on lmarena.ai, which is really the third party that a lot in the industry go to for a trusted source on how good these benchmarks are. So we haven't seen that yet.
Ooh,
so maybe suspend your enthusiasm.
Absolutely. Now I'm curious for those results. Absolutely. And of course, use it myself if I can figure out how. Deirdre, for now, really appreciate it. Thank you today.